Hello historians, welcome to Decoding the Test. Today we're going to look at the Gilded Age. Now, as always, I have a caveat. What we're about to go into is not the only information I would want you to know about the Gilded Age. Instead, it's an analysis of where the test has placed its focus in the past couple of years. If you want that better score, that higher level score, I would know the details you see in front of you. However, when you look at where the test is focused, you get four takeaways from the Gilded Age. They focus on immigration, they focus on American power, they focus on industry, and they focus on what we're going to talk about today, political corruption. What do you need to know about political corruption in the Gilded Age? One, that it's widespread. Two, you need to know who it impacts. Let's take a look. So this is a question that comes along every now and then in the test. The standards ask you to be able to recognize the overall kind of sense of what's going on in an age. This is one of those questions. In the Gilded Age, what's going on? Look at answer choice B. Industrialists used their connections with corrupt government officials for material gain and political power. Essentially, businessmen were able to use their wealth to influence corrupt politicians to help them to not pass regulations and legislation. That is a question about who benefits from political corruption. And remember, that's what we're looking for. Who benefits? Well, wealthy industrialists. That's number one. What's number two? Who else benefits? In this case, the exact opposite. Poor immigrants benefited. You're going to see the phrase political machines or machine politics. You will see that phrase. That will be on the test. Why did they become powerful? Why did they exist? Very simply, they gained power from poor and immigrant populations. Sometimes those two were connected, sometimes they weren't. Why? Because political machines would use their influence to actually provide for poor populations, immigrant populations. And in return, those populations would support the candidates that the political machines chose, which makes sense. They supported those who supported them. So when you look at corruption in the Gilded Age, you're really looking at two different aspects of who is benefiting. Well, one, the super wealthy are benefiting, and two, immigrants and poor are benefiting. So if you look at this question, the answer choice is actually F. The rapid influx of immigrants made it difficult for local governments to provide basic services. So many immigrants are coming into the country that local governments couldn't keep up. There was a gap there that political machines could step into to provide the shortfall. Now, let's look at this last example. You've got a cartoon here, and they actually are going to describe the cartoon for you since they can't blow it up in enough detail. It says, in this 1908 political cartoon, and by the way, whenever you get a year, it's really great to be able to pinpoint where this is coming from. 1908 really kind of helps us out. That is Gilded Age, Progressive Era. It says, Uncle Sam is distributing pies from the free pie kitchen. Some of the pies are labeled long-term franchise and special privilege. The recipients of these pies include businessmen labeled Public Service Corporation, Public Land Thief, and Predatory Wealth. Which issue is this cartoon addressing? Now, with this kind of question, it's throwing a lot of details at you that's basically hoping that you've never heard of before to freak you out. Do you need to know what long-term franchise, special privilege, public land thief, do you need to know what those things are? No. What's important? The government is handing out pies to businessmen. What is this cartoon addressing? Political corruption, temperance, civil service reform, or segregation? This is talking about political corruption. The government is handing out free things to people that don't need it. It ties back into the first question we looked at. So what do we need to know about political corruption? One, it's widespread. Two, who benefits? Wealthy industrialists / businessmen, poor populations, immigrant populations. Those are the things you need to know. If there's no questions, comments, or screams of angst, I will see you in the next video.